Hi everyone, my name is Maria Carmo. Today I'm here with two great guests from the community, Steve Lockhart and Tevo. How are you guys?
Good.
Right. A sunny day.
It's such a pleasure to have you here. I meet you everywhere, Steve, Tevo, in all the meetings. It's nice to have small conversations where we can actually capture each other's ideas.
Yeah, no, it's been fun being part of the community and getting to know people like y'all.
Where are you from, Tevo?
I'm from Estonia, which is left from Russia and south from Finland, because most people don't know where is Estonia. One of the small Baltic states, but it's a very good state to be in if we talk about blockchain, because it supports this quite a lot, and we have e-government here. Like most of the stuff is digital. I can pay taxes just with few button clicks. I can make big companies with just few button clicks. It's quite a modern place to be.
Tevo, you make me so jealous of the modernity that you are evolving. And so, how are you talking to from, Steve?
I'm in the southeastern part of the United States in a very a small rural community. There's our county here is not very many people, so we live out in the woods, and we've always felt very lucky just to have a good internet connection here. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to the World Mobile the other day and talk about how they're going to bring this internet to people in Africa, and it's amazing. And then I was in another meeting where we are talking about how good the internet will be. And I said, come on, guys, is internet at all for these people? Like they don't care about the latency as long as they have internet to transaction the token or using ADA or using whatever it is, because we just powered 5 million people with identity and diplomas in blockchain. So I don't think they will worry about much about the velocity as long as they have something.
Yeah, last Sunday actually, I also looked up more about World Mobile Token, because I was wondering what I can do with these tokens I have, and then found out that they had this when they first launched their stuff on the Africa, then they had like a 9 months period where they couldn't like help them, because it was a lockdown and stuff couldn't move. But when they got back, the people, the civilians themselves were able to expand the business, learn how to use it, and then they got back like with this new information. Oh, this mobile token is working, and they just scaled up, raised more funds, and now they're going in many different countries. So I'm happy.
Right. So I would like to ask you if you have a proposal for Fund 5, and if you'd please talk about it, Tevo and Steve, please. It's very important that we bring awareness to this proposal, because some people don't go to Idea Scale. So if you have the opportunity to be in video and talk about your project, you can get more eyeballs and more attention and maybe questions from the community.
Sure. Did you have one in Fun 5, Tevo? You had something?
Yeah, I have several ones, but you go ahead and then I follow.
Okay. I got to be friends with Mercy from the West Africa Decentralized Alliance back during the Fund 2 process, and you know we became friends just from the group chats that were going on, and we started talking about some of the issues that she was dealing with then, and getting to know people and building out the alliance. And when Greg Bell made the proposal for a Grow Africa, Grow Cardano challenge for Fund 5, I had thoughts by that time. Mercy and I knew each other well enough, and I just kind of made a comment on that, and Greg really liked the comment, and Mercy did too, and as well as Gwendol from Proof of Africa. And so I was really surprised one day. I got online and Greg had made me a co-proposer on that challenge proposal, which I thought was really nice, but it kind of surprised me. And it was around then that Mercy started talking to me about joining the WADA team. And I always kind of thought that was, I didn't understand why she was asking me to do that, because I don't really have any connection to Africa at that time other than her. But she liked the way that I talk about it. And I ended up realizing this is kind of what Catalyst is about, is collaborating with people that your thoughts are in sync, right? It's a good positive reinforcement, and these different backgrounds and experiences that we each have, kind of complement one another when you're already on the same wavelength anyway. And so I wrote some of the narrative that was used in the Fund 5 proposal. And that proposal is basically about getting the funding for the infrastructure for these different hubs, these different groups of people in the 6 different countries that are currently in the alliance. And this is really critical. We were just talking about internet connections. For like Joshua Akpan in Nigeria, the group that he has, the ABCD group, like James James Dunseith from Gimbal Labs was giving them classes, some students that Joshua had put together. It was very, very difficult for them, because their connections are so poor and very expensive, they can't do what we're doing right now, because the costs, you pay per megabyte of whatever you're doing when you're online, and at least most of the African countries that we're talking about. And it's a very prohibitive amount of money for most of them. And so that makes it impossible for them to really build out the Cardano ecosystem from the ground up. And that seems very important to me and Mercy and other Africans that are involved in Cardano, because Charles often says that the best solutions are going to come from the ground up. But if you can't even have a meeting, where you can actually communicate easily with the team that you've built, then, you're effectively stopped. And, that doesn't even address the question of what do Africans in Africa actually want to do with Cardano? Well, you would want to collaborate with the world community as it's building out this ecosystem. You would want to start setting up stake pools in Africa, but if you don't have a stable connection, you can't run a stake pool. And this is really critical, And obviously IOG is working on that. They made the deal with World Mobile Telecom, and they're building out things in Ethiopia and Tanzania, but that's a slow top-down process, and for me, the logic in getting involved in Catalyst, and specifically getting involved in the West Africa Decentralized Alliance part, is this wonderful mechanism that the Cardano protocol has, and that a portion of every transaction goes into a community treasury. And in my mind, if you have a community treasury, what do you first want to spend that money on? You want to spend it on those things that are planned in the Cardano roadmap. And so if the roadmap is to build out Africa and bank the unbanked, then it seemed to me, as an investor as well as a participant in the Catalyst community, then that what we should do is invest in infrastructure for the Africans in Africa who are already interested and involved with the Cardano protocol. And so in my view, from that perspective, then the community would be making an investment in its own future, and it would be, as an individual, investing in my own investment, to support those kinds of proposals and these groups of people that are working on that. So that's just like basic logic for me, you know, like we've got this money as a community. We want to build out this ecosystem. We need to invest in the things that will make that happen. And so water represents, you know, really, I think it's a very impressive thing what Mercy has done in being that point of focus and drawing all these people from these different countries together and having that common goal, building that common goal and working on problems together. And I'm very happy to be a part of it and always hopeful that I'm contributing to that process.
I'm sure you are. I'm sure you are. Tevo, would you like to talk about your proposal?
Yeah. I did a proposal with together with Quasar, and our idea was, since this Project Catalyst Fund it is amazing. You can like get, like Steve Locker said, it's a mechanism to spend money and like create things from bottom up. But there was one issue where we always talked about, but what if you want to do something small and then you have to wait for 6 months to get it done? And then we get like a small fund to enable people to make proposals and try different experiments, because in idea scale you cannot experiment that fast. It's like it takes entire fund to go through. Now I understood like in fund 6 it's gonna be 12 weeks, so we could try something. Okay, let's try something in 2 weeks and let's like try community decision making, maybe only community advisor decision making, some other ranking methods. And as they build out this proposal, they get like in the money in 2 weeks. But it's not in the same scale as the idea scale itself. We took this and like to the lower amounts. So the idea is like mini proposals, which are maximum 3,000 ADA. So the scope of the project itself has to be already small and easy to do. So it works both as an education, also as an experiment for the idea scale itself, and also lesson for us how to manage different groups. And so that's one of the proposals. But to back it up, I already created few mini proposals. One I just like mentioned in IDFS, what was this mirror board, to just do a mirror board. Like it's quite simple. You know what you want, and you can ask people and just do it. Another thing was a few bots for the Discord channel. So right now it's kind of messy. Everybody has to ask if he wants to roll, or they want to find something. I ask the question. It would be nice if a bot answers it first or shows the resource instead of waiting for moderator or somebody else to ask. So all these, they're like small things, but they're not small enough to do it like in one day, or sometimes needs like a developer, a project manager, or somebody who is good at writing. Because whenever I write something, probably nobody understands me, so I need help from other people to digest what I'm trying to say. So yeah, that's the like idea of taking this idea scale scope into smaller aspect and play with it in a smaller scope.
Yeah, it's so beautiful the way you both put it together, because Cardano is not only about buy a token and holding, or buy a token, holding and staking. It's about participation. What do you think about the circle? Circle is something new in the community. Not many people know about it, but we are very active in Catalyst and we see things happening, changing. What is your opinion, Steve, about this event?
You got to start somewhere. You know, I think we kind of recognized over the last, it's been going on almost a year since the Fund 1 test funding round, and then Fund 2 seemed to take forever, you know, and I know for everybody that was like a long process, kind of like the way Fund 4 was like, when will we ever vote for it? So everybody involved in the Catalyst process has had a lot of time to think, you know, and a lot of time to discuss the different issues that we're seeing. And there are a lot, you know, I mean, there's so much to consider that you know, I've never been involved in systems like this. And so, you know, like listening to people say, hey, this is going to create a click, or this is not fair, you know, if people with 500 ADA don't get to vote, you know. And I never really thought about it that much until I actually got involved, and you start to see numbers, you know, like the way the numbers grew in terms of the involvement and the way the number of proposals grew. And it gets to be a lot, you know, if everybody is working on a volunteer basis, it gets to be a lot, you know, just in providing assessments for the proposals. I mean, it's a huge thing. It's a huge amount of work if you're really going to give an honest assessment and a well thought out assessment. And of course, that's, I think that's very necessary. You know, we have a lot of people taking advantage of the open and permissionless society that this is creating. And so you have a lot of people coming in and making business proposals that have never made a business proposal for. And so like there are opportunities where we can actually educate by providing positive, constructive criticism and you know, encouraging people to look for others. You know, like some people have great ideas, but they have no technical skills. And so a lot of people have technical skills, but they're not business oriented, right? They've been busy their whole lives developing technical skills, and they've never really thought, you know, how do you make a business out of this thing that I can do? And so that's very exciting, you know, and that this very structure of making proposals and funding proposals can actually create new skills that we haven't seen before. But with the circles, you know, in the back of my mind, it's been very important, you know, to think about how does the community actually mature to the point where they are actually managing and administering the community treasury and the funding process itself. Because right now it's still centralized, you know, IOG kind of pulls the strings and calls the shots about how things are going, because, you know, they developed this plan. And so like all of that's natural, but that's not where we want to stay. You know, I mean, we want to manage this treasury, and we want to build out this ecosystem in our own image, you know, what the community thinks of itself. And so, you know, in the process, you know, we've kind of been discovering what we think about ourselves and what we think we ought to do with the money. And the circle is a way to, you know, I think at least begin the process of the community representing itself and demonstrating that maturity necessary to take over the management, you know, take over the keys to the treasury and actually, you know, execute the plan. But there's a lot of components to it, and some of them I know that I'm not aware of, you know, and I think not very many people are aware of them, you know, like they're going to be unrolled and unveiled over the next few months to a year. And until that happens, you know, we'll see. I like the idea that the circle was only chosen, you know, this initial group of people, that it's only for 3 months, you know, because that's about the rhythm of change in the catalyst community. Like every 3 months, everybody kind of gets the same idea, like, hey, I don't think we should do this anymore. And somebody else says, yeah, I don't think we should either. So, you know, that's going to continue to happen. And I think it's exciting. I mean, this is the best thing I've ever worked on in my life. You know, I mean, like I've lived in several different big cities in the United States, and I lived in Germany for 10 years, and then I came back to the United States after 9/11, and you know, I always had a hard time, you know, because I didn't know where to really put my energy into, you know, like when I was younger, I thought it was a couple of different things, and then, you know, you put 3 or 4 or 5 years into something and you go, this is not actually helping anybody. You know, this is not actually the world that I want to live in. And so, but then what do you do? And I think discovering blockchain, you know, the philosophy of blockchain, and realizing you know, what that possibilities that technology implies. You know, that's exciting, you know, because I'd become kind of, I'd kind of become cynical. I didn't really see a happy ending to the world that I've been living in. And that's sad, you know, particularly if you have a, you know, like I have a son, you know, and I didn't really know what to tell him, you know, what to do, because everything that I saw was kind of corrupted, you know, by the systems that we have in place. You know, they've all been taken over by corporations. And, you know, if you're not the kind of person that can be happy working in a corporate structure, there's not been a lot of options. You know, you can be a hermit and live in the woods, and that's kind of what I am. You know, like we've been living here for 10 or 11 years, and just learning how to be happy in a small community and seeing how that works. But this can really change things. I mean, you know, like this can really change many people's lives, and it doesn't matter, you know, where you live. You know, like you can live in the countryside in any country, and blockchain technology can affect your life. It can improve your life. It can help you grow wealth. And that's true for people who live in the cities or the more developed countries too. And it's just so damn exciting. I mean, you know, like we're the ones who are actually kind of building this out. You know, I mean, that's kind of what's so fun about this, is that we are actually doing the talking and the working to kind of make that happen for the next generation. And, you know, like I said, I mean, it's a very happy development in my life, you know, to think that I can actually contribute something on such a significant level.
I think the most excited part of Cardano is the one you can contribute the most. I see a brilliant future about the things we are doing there. We are working as a pioneer from the bottom of our heart.
And that's what, you know, there's pressure to that, right? You know, you got to be good. You know, you can't be thinking about your own emotional stuff, right? It's about something bigger than us. And so that's nice, right? But it doesn't have to be about me, you know, because it's really nothing I'm doing is about me. It's really trying to help all of us find a better way. Yeah.
I think the cool thing is that decentralized governance seems to be a mission impossible, but here in community, everybody, okay, let's do it. Let's try one step at a time and see how far this impossibility goes. And this circle is like one step to some kind of direction. Is it cool or not? But we will find out.
I think we are learning as we go. Is one way to take it, just do the circle again and again, or maybe find something else. As Steve said, we are all saying, oh, I don't want to do it anymore. We don't want to do things in the old way every time someone new comes to the scene. So we'll see if maybe we will go on with the circle, or maybe somebody else will show up and say, guys, I have another idea, it's way better, and maybe we implement it. It's all about the people coming together and show the community there is other ways to work. It's what I like about Catalyst. If you're a teacher, you're welcome. If you're a developer, you're welcome. If you're whatever you are, a lawyer, or I don't know, if you build houses, you're a builder, you're welcome to Catalyst. And it's why I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, you know, and it doesn't take a lot, you know, like I mean, I've got a lot of different experiences, you know, with tech, but I always avoided being a programmer. And so when you know, after I was lurking for 2 or 3 months, just watching everybody else talk, and I thought, well, you know, I know what some of these conversations are about. And I thought, you know, like I'm not a developer, and you know, and I'm not a blockchain expert, but you know, I understood what I was seeing in conversation, and I thought when I started expressing myself, I kind of set it in my mind that what I'll do is, if I see a conversation happening, you know, whether it's in Discord or on Telegram, and everybody's making good points, but I'm thinking about something that nobody is saying, well, then that's when I'll speak, you know, and then I'll, you know, see what kind of response, you know, comes, you know, as part of the conversational flow. And that's been very validating, you know, because, you know, I do think things other people don't think. And, you know, like in the conversation that in Gimbal Labs, you know, when I realized, you know, I started sitting in on these conversations between programmers, you know, and, you know, what a shock. When they have conversations, they don't spew code at one another, right? They're not talking in programming language. They speak in metaphors. And, you know, my dad's a preacher. His dad was a preacher. And I know about metaphors, you know, like I can speak in metaphors. So, you know, in those situations, it was clear I had a perspective that kind of helped them understand what they were trying to do, you know, in certain situations. And that's really nice, you know. I mean, that's really nice that somebody like myself, without this deep technical experience, you know, can make a contribution on something that is still technical.
Hi, Steve. Is why I'm here. I'm here to welcome everybody and say technical is important. It's a big piece of the pie of about what we are doing, but no technical people is very welcome as well. I see people with a problem in marketing, in communications, in many areas. So these people can come in and contribute in these gaps. I see gaps in the community, and as we grow as a blockchain and we appreciating value as well, we caught the attention of people, and I think it's going to grow and grow. I really like your feedbacks. I read some of the feedbacks in the Telegram. I read your feedbacks and proposals and in Discord, and I really like the perspective that you bring for the conversation. You know, sometimes we don't have any more options to talk about a subject, and then you bring it to a new light, and it's very cool.
Yeah, and I think it's important, you know, like with the people that were selected, and I can't think of them off the top of my head, even though it was only 7. But, you know, everybody that was chosen, you know, have been in more than one bubble. You know, I think the people that are in the circle right now, and there's more people that are like these people. I think it is important that people have experience as a proposer, that they have experience as a community advisor doing assessments, that they have experience just as a pure voter, and that they have experience in trying to collaborate on some of these different projects, because there's so many different threads, you know, like Charles talks about parallel threads. There are so many things going on at the same time, that somebody who's only focused on one aspect kind of is in danger of kind of losing the understanding of all the other things that are going on at the same time, and how it all fits together. And so I think that we need that. I think that hopefully, in my view, you know, what I'm hoping for is that we come up with you know, structures that let people float from one part of the community to the other, and gather that experience, you know, doing one thing, you know, in the, you know, whether it's in the catalyst process or it's in the mentoring process and helping proposals become full, complete proposals, and just staying up to date on the tools that are being made. You know, like there are lots of solutions coming. I mean, people have been working on this and have been funded now for 6 or 7 months now, and stuff is being built. And, you know, like WADA, you know, like WADA is, you know, with the Fund 5 proposal is 6 countries, but we're about to add 3 more countries to it. You know, like that process of networking across the continent is ongoing. And so we need that broad spectrum of understanding all of the different parts of the Cardano ecosystem that are growing.
Agreed.
Yeah, on that note, I actually would like to add something. With this, there is a thing called Swarm, and it doesn't have a proposal, and it still keeps growing, and people keep coming up. And the whole vision in my mind, and I think in many people's mind, it's not gonna stay only Cardano centric. It's going to be interoperable with different chains, with Polkadot, Chainlink, and from different areas. Like, so it doesn't have to be about blockchain. It's just about to be the alignment and what you want to achieve, or where is your vision, and align with that. The blockchain is just a tool to achieve that in some ways. I think the Cardano has like collected these specific individuals who has like this great vision of like going, like aligning in that great like end goal where everybody is their own self-sovereignty, or how you call it, and
Right.
Yeah,
has power.
I see a lot of synergy. Now we meet one people, and 2 months later, you know almost everybody in the community, and everybody know what you're about. And it's also is good for Catalyst, our networking in even about knowledge. Sometimes you put a proposal through, but you don't have the entire knowledge to make it happen, and then we bring new people in. Sometimes from other proposals, sometimes from outside, and it's make us grow. Not just I'm happy that not only we just grow in the budget, that's 2 million or something, but we are growth in this networking that we are building around us, surrounding us all the time. Because this is small proposal, for example, my first proposal was very small, but maybe later on I can build something else that's going to add value to the community. You know, I like the fact that we can deliver, we can prove, and then we can come back if you wanted to. But some business is not necessary to come back for the treasure anymore. It depends on the proposal.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be interesting, like, just over the coming years, just the next 2 or 3 years, I expect an explosion in the number of stake pools, because we need stake pools. I mean, we need stake pools in Africa. We need them in South America. We need them in Asia. Right now, the overwhelming majority of stake pools, they're all in North America and Europe, and as the process goes and the K number rises, right? 1,000 to 2,000 to 3 or 4,000, however, whatever kind of jumps they expand that in, and then the saturation point lowers, then that's going to make it easier and easier for African stake pools to actually start minting blocks and to start creating that income, for themselves. And that will change what they can offer their communities. There'll be different on-ramps for these other countries, like in Africa or Asia or South America, to buy Cardano. I mean, right now, like if you look up crypto exchanges in Africa, this is a very short list, and it's pretty much all Bitcoin. Like there's not much else that you can buy if you are in Africa, and that's your choice. So it's very exciting what's coming, and I'm just pleased, very pleased to be here.
I'm pleased to be here too. I tell everybody I'm the luckiest girl in the world because I got to be together in between social smart minds that are going to build so cool stuff on top of Cardano. I think Charles is a genius, but the people that are coming around and showing service and showing contribution, they're all like amazing. I'm also very excited. So guys, it was very nice to have you here on my channel. Would you like to give a shout out to anyone in the community?
I'd like to thank everybody. I'm thankful for Tevo. It's amazing to me to have a friend in Estonia. That's pretty exotic.
I will be in touch, Tevo. Lots of my friends want to go to Estonia, open companies and crypto.
Yeah.
You could be our consultant.
Yeah, maybe I don't even have my own company, so but maybe there is time for that too.
You should start a Cardano bed and breakfast for all those people.
Yes, Tevo, come on, I help you around. I make the marketing if you want.
Yeah. Yeah, it like there is no specific people I guess I have to shout out, because I'm gonna meet probably this week most of people I want to shout out to, and that's one thing what is cool about here is that I feel like I meet maybe once a month my friends, but I meet you guys every day here. So
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I
I
know.
will. I mean, I will say that I'm very grateful to Mercy and the WADA team, and I'm very grateful to Gimbal Labs. They've all been very generous and kind with me. And Steve Aldrich was early on. He was somebody that really encouraged me a lot. So I'm grateful to all those people.
or shout out to the people who we have not met yet.
Exactly.
Oh, that is
Exactly.
cool. Guys, it was a very good meeting. I love to talk to you and I hope see you soon. Bye bye.
Thanks, Maria. See you, Tevo.